Hello everyone, and welcome to Star Trek Resurgence, a game that is so period accurate we are locked at 1080p and 30 FPS. That is a lower frame rate than 2000's Star Trek Elite Force. This is a game by Telltale, or at least the reanimated corpse of Telltale. So I thought it might be fun to do a run in which we do the wrong thing, fail every minigame, make every stupid choice, but from what I've heard, this is actually a very good Star Trek game. So instead, why don't we meet it halfway, and actually try and enjoy it. You're coming with me on this one, I'm going in blind. Let's see how we do. Engage.
Captain's log, stardate 57931.4. The crew is restless. After spending too many months piecing our ship back together, we're finally about to venture out on a new mission. And the crew isn't letting this unprecedented ion storm slow them down. They're ready for something different. I know I am. Perhaps more than any of them. Fortunately, nothing ever stays the same. It's entropy, the nature of the universe. Change is inevitable. And while entropy says order gives way to chaos, in this case, change is good.
Amen. Well, you've got to go into sound effects if your name's Laser. Come on.
Our new first officer is en route to the Resolute. Jara Rydek. I know she'll bring a welcome dose of new blood to the crew.
Ah, we call this the Happy Burnham welcome. Oh, what? I'm not playing with the controller. Ugh. It's okay. My panicked scrawl has worked. We are very capable.
I'm not great with flying. But these little shuttles are the worst.
I've seen worse. Let's be cocky.
Stick around in Starfleet and you'll be sure to see worse than this. I have.
And you're here to talk about it.
In the flesh.
That's good.
Okay, looks like we're getting some classic Telltale things.
Sorry, I'm a little anxious.
I hadn't noticed.
I'm on my way to my first assignment. When we get to the Starbase, I'm transferring on to the Resolute.
So am I.
Oh my god, did they make a...
It won't be easy for Jara to step in at the 11th hour like this.
Is this...
But if she's half the officer I knew she could become when she was a cadet at Starfleet Academy, she'll be the XO this ship needs right now.
Have they finally made a Hogwarts game, but for Star Trek? Oh my god, is this the game I tried to make in every text adventure engine I've ever found? Just live your life aboard a starship? Huh. Well, now I'm excited. And now I've seen a model from a game from 1998, but never mind. Okay, so we're not an ensign. We are, I believe, the rank is big girl. Ooh, that, I looked, we cannot turn off the motion blur. And, that is a thick 30 FPS. Okay, let's go.
A starbase on the very edge of Federation space. Long way from home now.
Oh, good. I was worried there wasn't enough mahogany here for a moment.
Commander? I'm not usually such a nervous wreck, by the way. I actually did well at the Academy.
Oh yeah?
Maybe you've heard of the Torvalin test?
Sounds familiar.
It's a tactical simulator that makes the Kobayashi Maru look like a picnic on Pintaris 5. Anyway, I finished in the top 20. Not just in my class. I mean, all time. In the history of the Academy.
Oh, bless, he needs
So,
this.
there's that.
Rip. That's quite impressive.
Thank you.
Whoops.
It was tough. But I set my mind to it and it paid off.
I seem to have a pause and let your hair freak out button. Is this a Japanese time stop game? I'm into it either way, let's go.
Please place your hand here. Hold it there for a few seconds.
Ah, my ultimate test of gamer prowess. Oh, I was joking, but actually, it does not feel great to control.
Welcome, Commander Rydek.
Wait, you're Jara Rydek? You absolutely crushed the Torvalin test.
Well, I didn't know that, or I would have mocked you.
You finished in what, like the top 3?
That would be me.
Now I'm really... It's an honor to meet you, Commander. Sorry, I didn't realize before. I just came off the shuttle and was glad to be on solid ground.
The pleasure is mine, Ensign.
Paul Calloway.
Good to meet you.
I believe Commander Ermot is expecting you. He's in the concourse just ahead.
See you on the Resolute.
See you on the Resolute. It's interesting. Oh, okay, I was going to say this doesn't quite match in terms of time. But these guys, I suspect, just mean that this is an older location, which is why we're running that older pseudo-LCARs that Okuda designed for the latter original series movies, even though we're wearing post-TNG uniform. There is a light jog button if we're that kind of person. And you know what? I'm not someone to make a video longer just for the sake of it. Let's
If
continue.
I remember my briefing, Commander Ermot is a Bolian, so I'm looking for someone with blue skin.
Okay, truly Star Trekky. Let's start racial profiling. Hey, lost crewman, stand right there. Let your hair freak out. Nice. The warp core overloaded. That doesn't sound great. Sorry, just reading the
Are
subtitle.
you alright?
Yeah, I'm just... Well, I'm not sure where my departure dock is. The Resolute's gonna leave without me.
Look here. The Resolute is leaving from this dock.
Ah, you're right. Nerves must be getting to me.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
Thanks so much,
That's
Commander.
better. Were he ruder, I would have replicated dishes for him to wash. Feels a bit Mass Effect-y, doesn't it? Or like someone's first Unity attempt who loved Mass Effect. It sounds negative. I don't mean it negatively. From what I've heard, from what I've seen so far, I think they really love the source material. They just seem to be running with the engine designed for the first iPad.
Starbase 128 has 4 docks.
Alright, we've learnt to count. This is good. We are leveling up our character.
Excuse me, have you seen a Bolian around here?
Yes, sir. Right back there, near the replicator.
Ah, there he is. Thank you.
Happy to help, Commander.
But now I'm going to sit here and ignore them, because I know how these work.
I'll replicate myself a meal once I'm on board. Excuse me.
Or don't. What are you? It's kind of rude to ask, I suppose. But where are you really from?
Welcome to the edge of the galaxy, Commander Rydek. I'm Commander Jan Ermot, Operations Officer on the Resolute.
That's Data's position.
Commander? hope there wasn't too much trouble getting here. This storm isn't making anything easy for us right now.
I can take it.
I know conditions are less than ideal at the moment.
It takes more than a little turbulence to rattle me.
I'm sure that's the case. We're grateful you were able to come fill our first officer vacancy at such short notice. From everything I've read and everything I've heard, we're lucky you were available to us. Coming from a premier starship and all. To our little research vessel.
I'll do my best to live up to expectations.
Oh, I'm sure you'll do just fine. And if I can help in any way, just let me know.
Oh, she's lovely.
The USS Resolute. She may not look like much compared to the bigger ships, but as far as science vessels go, she can more than hold her own. And she doesn't look so bad considering 6 months ago she was nearly cracked in half, venting plasma, fighting for her life.
It was an accident?
Equipment malfunction. An accident suggests fault, but no one's to blame.
Sus.
It was a planned test, but the warp core was pushed beyond its limits. It destabilized the dilithium, there was a runaway reaction, and the warp bubble deformed. We thought we could reach a higher resonant frequency, but it was more than she could handle. Cost us our first officer and 22 of our crew. At the end of the day, we're all responsible for each other. That's what it means to be a crew.
I can't even begin to imagine what that must have been like for you. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. It does weigh heavy. There are some things you can't forget.
Let's be
It's been 6
professional.
months. What's the attitude among the crew now?
Unsettled. But I hope that a new mission will help them move forward. If not, move on. Listen. I realize you've known Captain Solano for quite some time. And I'm glad you're ready to bring your best. But I should warn you that when the captain announced you would be the new first officer, there were those who felt it was a mistake, that he should have promoted from within. So you might want to tread lightly at first. Until they come to value your contributions as much as he does.
Let's ingratiate.
Thank you. Always good to have a sense for what you're walking into.
I just thought you ought to know.
I appreciate it.
Starfleet has assigned us a high-priority mission to the Hotari region. I'll let the captain...
Okay. Oh, so we do do some blasting. Oh, there's a separate thing. Okay. Oh, we have 2 whole devices. Fantastic. Oh, and multiple tricorder modes. This is as good as Elite Force 2. Precisely! Precisely! Good. Alright, everything's fine. Clicking, running, crouching. Okay. Oh! Turns out I could control music volume all along. I'm sorry. Can't. Okay, so you select music volume by clicking master volume. Okay, it's early days.
Brief you on board. I know he's eager to see you.
Will we be mission ready in time?
We have every intention. The crew has been working around the clock to get the ship ready. There's still so much to do.
Whoa. Is this the
Stuck.
filter?
I got just the thing.
I do? That's a hyper spanner. That's obviously an interphasic coil spanner. This looks more like a plasma torch. Sick. Now this is pod racing. Can we do a 360 no scope? Can we take a thumb off on that? Oh, I'm actually going to get RSI. Oh, they mean this kind of spin. Okay. Let's put in the new camping stove.
And that...
Hold D, which is not circular because it's a button, and then do the opposite of that because I use a left-handed mouse. There we go.
is that?
It took more thinking than it should have. I see what they did there.
I thought that thing was totally fried. Nice work, Carter.
Nothing to it, Neely.
And not a moment too soon. The boss wants us down in engineering. Like, now.
She seemed pretty frightened of us. Can't blame her. Clicky.
Come on!
Oh, these are heavier than they look. Makes more sense than zero G. You're welcome. Engineering.
I heard the new XO just arrived. Won't be long before we get underway. I just hope whatever Chovok called us down for, it's something good. I can never tell with him. I'd rather not end up degaussing plasma manifolds. Hanging upside down makes me queasy.
You and me working together, we can tackle anything he throws at us.
Your optimism is positively contagious.
I wonder if she's joined.
Looks like we got here before.
Lieutenant Commander Chovok.
We were just looking for you, Commander.
Petty Officers Ed Solar, Diaz. I was beginning to think you would be late. We are all hands on deck right now, which means if you are not at your post at the appointed time, I do not have someone to replace you. A point I have been forced to make to Petty Officer Edzelar on repeated occasions.
Let's not make the Vulcan grumbles.
Apologies for the delay, Commander.
I do not want your apologies.
I've made a huge
Simply
mistake.
see to it that it does not happen again.
So, I don't suppose you wanted us down here to check in before we go off duty?
Equip yourselves in EV suits to work on the exterior of the hull. I need you to tune the structural integrity field for optimal performance. The subspace distortions and ionic interference we are experiencing are preventing the proper calibration. But this ship must be ready to depart shortly, despite the storm. The precise nature of these disturbances are not fully understood. But many systems have been affected by the wide band of emissive activity.
How concerned should we be about the storm? Are you worried?
Vulcans do not worry. We calculate the variables and take appropriate precautions to mitigate the risk. Right now, that entails making critical preparations, because long-range sensors show that these disturbances will be more severe at our destination, the Hotari system. You have your orders. Do not delay.
Yes,
Roger
Commander
that.
Chovok. All hands on deck.
What's that?
All hands on deck. That's what Chovok said. You know what that means? It means this ship isn't ready to go out and the brass know it. So they're throwing every warm body at it. And they're going to leave on schedule. Consequences be damned.
You won't get an argument from me, Nelly. Sure seems like everyone's still scrambling.
And I get it. When has a relaunch ever gone off without a hitch? But this isn't just any old refit or any old relaunch.
Oh, whoa.
Excuse me.
A lot of new faces coming on board. It's gotta be tough coming as a replacement. That's for sure.
They may not be the same crew we started out with. They're still Starfleet. They'll know what to do when the time comes.
I prefer the scientific method. Evidence over assumptions. Hold on. Now there's an old face I didn't expect to see again.
What,
hey,
Asset
Miranda.
04?
You weren't gonna leave without me, were you?
Miranda, you're here?
We thought you were staying on the Adirondack.
Transfer came in at the last minute, so I figured I'd slum it on this bucket of bolts. Looks like you got her back together pretty nicely. I wasn't sure what to expect.
I'm gonna take the high road here, pretend you didn't say that, and welcome you aboard.
He's a better diplomat than I am.
He still owes me a bottle of Saurian brandy. Don't think I forgot.
Is she coming out in the
yeah, it's
airlock?
coming back
That's
to
not
me
going to
now.
work out for her.
Maybe Carter can rustle up that bottle and we can give you a proper welcome. As soon as we wrap up this quick little spacewalk.
Here, let me help you.
Thanks.
So what's the word? Are you back in the security rotation?
Yep. Still running with the usual suspects.
Whoa!
Good to go. See you on the other side.
Activating magnetic souls.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Kind of hoping for the first contact wob with each step. Maybe that's too spooky for what they're going for right now.
Let's go.
Oh, that's fun. Look at that.
Captain Solano should be here momentarily.
All right. Looks like we're on mission 1.
You'll have to forgive me, I don't know much about Kobleods. But my understanding is you need a steady supply of duridium to keep your cell structure stabilized, or bad things start to happen. And we have plenty of duridium in sickbay, so there's no risk of running out.
Thank you.
Feel free to make yourself at home. And help yourself to whatever you like from the replicator.
And now to nap. Oh. It kind of feels like it was built in one of those engines for making games, like Dark Basic and its ilk. You know, let's not use Unity or Unreal or any other established engine. Let's let's go with the hot mess instead.
Just a sip of something. Rack the Geno.
I thought there was going to be a sipping minigame. And from that pause, I have a feeling there used to be one.
Jara Rydek. Last time I saw you, it was graduation from the academy. You'd already secured one of the most prestigious assignments possible. And you were burning with enough ambition to fuel 7 trips around the neck.
Time stop. I knew I recognized this guy from somewhere. I think he used to race with his dog Muttley.
Expanse.
It's good to see you again, Captain.
I could not be happier to have you on the Resolute. The only regret is that we couldn't provide you with a warmer welcome. The arrival of a first officer to her new ship deserves a bit of fanfare.
That would be totally unnecessary. I don't need any pomp and circumstance.
You've been here all of 5 minutes, and already you're trying to make us more efficient. I like it. As I'm sure you've heard, we've had a rough go of it these last 6 months. The ship suffered some damage, but not nearly as much as the crew.
I heard that you had an equipment malfunction.
Is that what they're calling it? No, that's just someone being generous. If anything, it was a leadership malfunction. We were on the verge of a major scientific breakthrough. A quantum leap forward in warp core technology. 10,000 teradynes per second. The ability to travel at a sustained rate of speed longer and faster than we ever dreamed. What would have been the crowning achievement of my career. Right there, within our grasp. Until it all went so horribly wrong. We pushed her too hard, and a warp core malfunction overloaded the system, creating a pressure gradient way beyond what the ship can handle. It was heartbreaking. We lost some of our best people. As captain, I have to take full responsibility. It was my decision to make, and I have to live with the consequences.
Well, then maybe you should retire. I'm not going to say anything. Ah, that is not a valid choice.
You have to look to the future. You can't dwell on the past, on things you can't change.
There's nothing that can be done about it now. In my defense, I will say, I might have avoided the whole ordeal if my senior staff had been willing to trust me. There was a lot of pushback from my former XO, and I think that cost me his confidence. I don't want you to pull any punches. Certainly not on my account. But once we decide on a course of action, I need everyone to fully commit to the mission.
Are you an evil captain?
Anything short of that just won't work. And that's when things start to go sideways.
This is your ship, and you are the captain. So as far as I'm concerned, whatever you say, goes.
That's the kind of support I'm looking for. Look, I'll be blunt. We can't afford another mistake. Or at least, I can't. I feel like my career is hanging in the balance here. We need a win. Something to restore the crew's confidence.
I understand.
On a more positive note, Starfleet has tasked us with what they're calling a mission of the highest priority. Escorting a senior diplomat to Hotari space. 2 previously peaceful and otherwise non-aggressive civilizations now find themselves on the brink of all-out war.
So it's a peacekeeping mission.
I see it as a golden opportunity to not only prove what the Resolute and her crew are truly capable of, but also a mission for which we're uniquely qualified. This ionic storm. Our long-range sensors suggest it's several orders of magnitude stronger than anything on record. A total anomaly like nothing we've seen before. and you'll never guess where it leads.
Hatari.
Exactly. Very nearly in the precise location where we're headed. Where I imagine the interference will be exponentially greater. But the diplomat will brief us on the details at the rendezvous.
But are we prepared to embark on the mission?
As much as I'd like to think that's true, I have my doubts. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I expect we'll have some rough sledding when we arrive, so I need you to prepare the crew for the worst. There's just one more thing I want to clarify up front. The metric that for me will be the ultimate measure of your success.
What is it?
If after serving as my first officer, you don't one day find yourself with a ship of your own, then I will consider it my personal failure. When that might happen is entirely up to you. But it goes without saying, you have my full support.
Thank you. But I feel like I still have so much to learn.
You'll have plenty of opportunity. And if you're willing to put in the work, I'll do everything in my power to help you along the way. Come, let me introduce you to the crew.
All right. Now let's see if there are any mods to add Lady Dimitrescu to this game. Or at least SpongeBob SquarePants. A quick timeout just to say I asked the Midjourney AI to render Lady Dimitrescu as a Starfleet officer, and it just made Rebecca Romaine.
Everyone, if I could have your attention for a moment. I'd like to introduce Commander Jara Rydek, our new first officer.
Thanks for standing, guys.
Quick introductions. This is Lieutenant Handar, our helmsman, one of the best in the business.
One of?
Well, what he lacks in humility, he more than makes up for in ability.
A pleasure to meet you, Commander.
Likewise.
Next, we have Commander Westbrook, our Chief Science Officer. I've come to rely on his expert counsel on a regular basis.
Pleasure.
Commander Rydek, it is such an honor to meet you.
This is our tactical officer, Lieutenant Bedrosian, who's been looking forward to meeting you for about as long as I can remember.
I've been following your career for quite some time, and I look forward to learning as much as I can from you.
If anything, the honor is mine.
Well, I have to admit, one of the reasons I've followed your career is because you're part Kobliad, because of what you've overcome. Starfleet stands up for people who can't defend themselves, and you were one of those people once.
Bit rude?
But since then, you've done so much to protect others who need it. I really admire that. So, inspiration to me. Not that I've done anything close to what you've done, but you definitely set a standard to strive for.
That's very kind of you to say, but enough about me. We have a lot of work to do.
Oh, yes, of course.
And then, of course, you've already met Commander Ermont. Please, do everything you can to make Commander Rydek feel at home here. I'll be on the Starbase. I have an urgent meeting with the Starbase commander to get our authorization to get underway. If they drag their feet any longer, we won't make our rendezvous. The bridge is yours.
Replicate drill.
Operations. Staffing, supplies. There's a lot to keep track of on a starship. Good thing we have Commander Ermont. The helm. The Resolute is a refitted Centaur class, meaning it's capable of quick maneuvers. Can't wait to see what she can do.
And unlabeled. I believe it was formerly the Navigator's chair. They changed that.
Science station. The Resolute is a science vessel, primarily. Might explain Commander Westbrook's attitude. I'll have to speak with him later. Tactical station.
Oh, that's
Hopefully a diplomatic mission won't
they
require
could have given us
we
some
use our
stilettos or
weapons
something.
much. But if it comes to that, we'll be ready.
Yeah, we think the best way to operate the tactical section of a starship is just to make sure the moment you tap the brakes, your tactical officer just absolutely loses their lower jaw. Just thousands of miles per hour straight through the console. So that's sufficient.
Commander, Chief Engineer Chovak needs to lower the structural integrity field. He's sent a crew out to recalibrate the emitters in response to the danger posed by the storm.
What could go wrong?
We just need your go-ahead.
Permission granted.
Lowering structural integrity field, now.
Entering maintenance mode. Condition blue.
Change it to a blue alert for you there?
The storm is getting worse.
Looks like they turned off the SIF.
Great. Let's get to that emitter.
And walk like a sim that's constipated.
Every time we're out here, I half expect to see her in pieces again.
She's still got some scars on her. It adds character.
When I joined Starfleet, all I wanted was a ride out of town. But this isn't exactly how I pictured it.
On the outside of the ship?
No. Sometimes it feels like we're just part of the machinery. Don't you want more than that? I mean, Starfleet is noble and all, but it's still a machine. A massive, massive machine.
I am more than that. And so are you. You wanted to get away. I enlisted because I didn't want to wait years just to get out and see the galaxy. I wanted to go somewhere. See new worlds. Look up at a sky no one's ever seen before. Just because I'm cranking a hyperspanner up in a Jeffries tube today doesn't mean that's all I'll ever be. Diaz to Commander Chovak. We are at the SIF emitter.
Acknowledged. You may proceed with the recalibration.
And let's leave it there. We'll continue with exciting recalibration gameplay next time. See you soon.